Now, we're gonna pray again. We're gonna say the Pledge of Allegiance again as we open this meeting. So at this time, I'll ask you to join me in prayer. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, send down upon those who hold office in this state and in this city the spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice, that with steadfast purpose they may faithfully serve in their offices to promote the well-being of all people. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, this time item number one is the presentation of certain proclamations. We're going to start with a very special proclamation declaring the day of May 18th as Colonel Robert G. Hill Day. So I'd like Glenn and Jody to come join me up here, please. Pretty sure I saw them come in.
Engineer outside.
Right, we're going to present. We're going to do another one first.
Oh, is that all?
There's 5 proclamations.
Okay, there.
I'll get you guys with me.
Thought he was just cut.
Well, the veterans should be first. Sorry.
They leave the veterans at the end. That's horrible. Another winter. You know,
All right, back to
nobody.
This is a really special proclamation. My great admiration and friendship for Colonel Hill. I do want to read this proclamation. Whereas Colonel Robert G. Hill, USMC retired, has announced his retirement from the Marine Military Academy effective May 18, 2019, after more than 23 years of loyal and dedicated service. And whereas Colonel Hill served a long and distinguished career in the Marine Corps, received 4 medals and 2 gold stars for his dedication and service. And whereas Colonel Hill excelled from the very beginning, graduating from Lamar University in 1966, obtaining a Bachelor of Science degree in government as well as a master's degrees in management and strategic studies. He was commissioned as second lieutenant in the U.S. Marine Corps in May 1966 through the platoon leader class program. Whereas Colonel Hill attended the basic school and later the basic communications officer course and went on to serve the Republic of Vietnam, participated in Operation Earnest Will, Operation Desert Shield, and Operation Desert Storm. Whereas during his service, Colonel Hill has received the Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion Medal with Gold Star, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, and an Oak Leaf, and the Navy Combination Medal with Combat 5 and Gold Star. Whereas after 30 years of service, Colonel Hill retired from the Marine Corps and took the position of Support Activities Director for the Marine Military Academy in 1996. And soon thereafter assumed the duties of Chief of Staff, and in 2006 took on the role of Superintendent. Whereas Colonel Hill has been an active member of his community, serving on many honorific and academic societies and organizations, Chairman of the Finance Committee of the First United Methodist Church, and Executive Board Member, President of the Rotary Foundation, and past President of the Rotary Club of Harlingen, Valley Baptist Medical Center Board of Trustees, Executive Board of the Rio Grande Council of Boy Scouts of America, and the Loaves and Fishes Advisory Board. And whereas the City of Harlingen is enormously grateful for the knowledge, care, and commitment that Colonel Hill has given to the community through his dedication and service on numerous boards, the many years of service given in the Marine Corps, and more than 23 years at the Marine Military Academy. Whereas the City of Harlingen expresses its sincere appreciation and congratulations to Colonel Robert G. Hill, his well-earned retirement, and best wishes for continued success, happiness, and good health in the years to come. Now, therefore, in recognition of his friendship and support to this community, I, Chris Boswell, Mayor of the City of Harlingen, do hereby proclaim Saturday, May 18, 2019, as Colonel Robert G. Hill Day, and encourage the public's recognition for his dedication, compassion, and valuable contributions extend congratulations to him for his accomplishments throughout his professional career in the Marine Corps and as the superintendent of the Marine Military Academy. The Marine Military Academy has always been one of the crown jewels of this city. It's just been a wonderful, there's nothing like it in the United States. It really is. It's a unique and important institution in our community. But I can't imagine it. Colonel Downey got some pictures. And because Colonel Bill, I think instilled just an enormous culture of service to the community. He wasn't just building these young men out there into great leaders and young adults who are going to go on to college. He was making sure they understood the importance of public service to the community. And we, as citizens of this great city, have benefited immensely by the contributions that the Marine Military Academy staff and cadets have given to us free of charge. A real labor of love, but something that we really have to appreciate. And I say that it's because of his leadership that this has become much more an important part of the institution's values and commitment. We are indeed fortunate to have that as an institution in our community, and we have indeed been super fortunate to have you as its leader, and everything that you've given back to the community is just unparalleled.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, sir. This is indeed an honor. I will tell you that 23 years ago, when I got a phone call asking me to come out and interview for a job in the Marine Military Academy, I wasn't too sure. While Jody and I both were born and raised in Texas, we had never been to the Valley. And we weren't sure what I thought it'd be like Yuma, Arizona, all desert. We came out and found out it wasn't. We said we're going to stay 5 to 6 years and then we're going to go to San Antonio. Well, 23 years later, we aren't going to San Antonio. This is our home. We have found that this community and the folks in it, I couldn't find any place else that I would rather live or any better people to live with. And it has been truly an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The next proclamation is declaring the day of May 23rd as Clinical Hypnosis Day. And is Joe LeBeau here? In a former life, Joe was an assistant city manager here.
That's right. Like to be a colonel, I returned here on purpose, sir. And I have to tell you, after a career in public service and administration of cities all across Texas, I'm proud of Harlingen. I'm proud to be here, and I see good management and good leadership here.
Well, you're also doing some different work now, and this is why you're here tonight, and I want to present this proclamation to assist you with your work. Whereas clinical hypnosis has an extensive and rich history of effectively treating and relieving medical, dental, and mental health illnesses. And whereas appropriately trained and certified practitioners with clinical hypnosis interventions are dedicated to the highest standards of professionalism and maintaining standards throughout education, credentialing, and professional commitment, whereas millions of Americans and other individuals seek the services of professionals trained and certified to provide clinical hypnosis each year, and whereas scientific research has provided support for clinical hypnosis for treating medical, dental, and mental health disorders, and whereas emphasize that it's essential that those in need of medical, dental, and mental health services understand the benefits of medical hypnosis and seek competent professional care. Therefore, I, Chris Boswell, Mayor of the City of Harlingen, hereby proclaim the 23rd day of May 2019 as Medical Hypnosis Day. Present this to you. Would you like to say anything about it?
I would, if I may.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Since my 20 years of retirement from municipal government, I went into private practice as a licensed professional counselor here in Harlingen. And I'm honored to be able to say that my practice is one of the largest and well-known, and what's most important to me, most trusted, among the most trusted at least, practices with the physicians here in the city of Harlingen. Well, I accept many referrals, as do my colleagues, for medical disorders and mental health disorders. And the reason I wanted to come today to talk and receive this proclamation on clinical hypnosis is this is a very effective and safe and underutilized tool that the public should know is available for pain control, diet management. We have an opioid crisis that I know most of you are aware of from the overuse of pain medications. This is a practical and useful alternative. So please consult your physician and ask about clinical hypnosis and the role that it may play in your health recovery. Thank you.
Next up is the proclamation for Poppy Day. And now.
Yeah, we don't need those. I invited the puppy game. I think.
Great group. Simon McGee's Post 205 District Commander. Eddie Biafranca, Finance Officer Elizabeth Mayo, Auxiliary President Doug, Auxiliary Vice President Lucy Callas, Auxiliary Secretary Wanda Paul, Auxiliary Treasurer Linda Garcia, Auxiliary Chaplain and District Vice President Pablo Reyes, and Auxiliary Historian, District Chaplain Star Garza, and Post Vice Commander Bobby Tomasic, and others. Whereas America is the land of freedom, preserved and protected willingly and freely by citizen soldiers. And whereas millions who have answered the call to arms have died on the field of battle. Whereas the nation must be reminded of the price of war and the death owed to those who have died in the war. And whereas the red poppy has been designated as a symbol of sacrifice of lives in all wars, and whereas the American Legion family, Post, the auxiliary, have pledged to remind America annually of this death through the distribution of this memorial flower. And Chris Boswell, Mayor of the City of Harlingen, Texas, to hereby proclaim 24th of May as Poppy Day, and ask all citizens to pay tribute to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of freedom by wearing the memorial poppy on this day. Thank you all for carrying on this great tradition in our community. We appreciate it.
On behalf of the American Legion Auxiliary, we thank you, and we ask that if we distribute our copies, that you wear them with honor, and remember those that have fallen for our way of life and for our freedom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Two more of these proclamations. The next one is Sergeant Major Ford H. Kinsley Jr. Like him and his wife to come on out here.
Thanks a lot.
retirement out of the Marine Military Academy. I failed to say this with Colonel Hill, this is a retirement from the Marine Military Academy. It's not a retirement from service in the city of Harlingen.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
Whereas Sergeant Major Ford H. Kennedy, retired, announced his retirement from the Marine Military Academy effective May 31st, 2019, after more than 19 years of loyal and dedicated service. Whereas Sergeant Major Kinsley entered the Marine Corps in 1971 and completed recruit training and infantry training, went on to complete the course of study of topographic drafting, where he was then assigned to the 2nd Topographic Platoon, 8th Engineer Support Battalion of Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Whereas Sergeant Major Kinsley was transferred to Okinawa, where he was meritoriously promoted to corporal in November 1973 and then sergeant in July 1974 while serving in Guam. Whereas Sergeant Major Kinsley served with the 1st Recruit Training Battalion in May 1979, where he was meritoriously promoted to gunnery sergeant in February 1981. He was then assigned as the coastal survey teams deployed in Haiti and Egypt. Where Sergeant Major Kinsley once again was promoted to first sergeant in 1984 while serving in Company A, and then chief instructor of drill and instructor school, followed by tours in Okinawa and Camp Lejeune. He was later promoted to sergeant major and transferred to Okinawa in 1973, where he remained until 1998 before returning to the United States. Whereas after 48 years of service, Sergeant Major Kinsley retired from the Marine Corps and took the position of support commandant of cadets for the Marine Military Academy in July 2000, where Sergeant Major Kinsley received the Legion of Merit, the Gold Star, Meritorious Service Medal with Gold Star, Navy Marine Corps Commendation Medal and Gold Star, and the Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medal throughout his years of service in the Marine Corps. Whereas he has been active in his community, serving on many boards, including Vice Chairman and Chairman of the Harlingen Veterans Advisory Board, Vice President and President of Harlingen Media Lions Club, MMA Faculty Advisor for Kiwanis Club, Lions Club International Leo Club, MMA Assistant Commandant of Cadets from July 2000 through July 2003, MMA Commandant of Cadets July 2003 to present. And whereas the city of Harlingen is enormously grateful for the knowledge, care, and commitment that Sergeant Major Kinsley has given to his community through his dedication and service on numerous boards, many years of service given in the Marine Corps, and his more than 19 years at the Marine Military Academy. And whereas the city of Harlingen would like to express its sincere and grateful appreciation to Sergeant Major Ford Kinsley Jr. and give him our congratulations on his well-earned retirement and our best wishes to him for continued success, happiness, and good health. Now, therefore, in recognition of his friendship and support for our community, I, Chris Boswell, Mayor of the City of Harlingen, do hereby proclaim Friday, May 31st, 2019, as Sergeant Major Ford H. Kinsley Day. Sergeant Major Kinsley has given enormously of his own time to our community, leading young men, working and giving service back to our community. And we are so grateful for that, for your leadership of keep Harlingen beautiful and Harlingen proud. Congratulations. Thank you for all you've done.
My pleasure.
Would you like to say anything?
Colonel Hill said everything I was going to say, so like him, we came here expecting to be here for about 5 years, and she convinced me that, no, you need to stay here because they pay you well, and so I listened to her like I have for 45 years. I had a tremendous boss in Colonel Hill, a great mentor, closest thing I ever had to a big brother, and because of the example he set, with all the community stuff that he did that I used to laugh at him about. I drank the Kool-Aid and here I am. I continue to drink the Kool-Aid. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. And we'll have proclamation. Ask the public works staff to come on up here. We have public works staff. Proclamation for National Public Works Week. These are the men and women that we don't see out in front most of the time. They're doing work in the background of the city, but it's vital work. It's work that if it didn't get done, people would notice. We would get a lot more phone calls. But we don't get very many calls because you all do such a good job at what you do. And so we want to recognize you for the important work that the Public Works Department of our city does. Whereas public works services provided in our community are an integral part of citizens' everyday lives. Whereas the support of understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of public works systems and programs such as drainage, streets and highways, public buildings, and solid waste collection. And whereas the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, and construction, are vitally important and dependent upon the efforts and skill of the public works officials. Whereas the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated personnel who staff public works departments is materially influenced by the people's attitude and understanding of the important work that they perform. Therefore, I, Chris Boswell, Mayor of the City of Harlingen, do hereby proclaim the week of May 19th to the 25th, 2019 as National Public Works Week in the City of Harlingen, and I call on all citizens and civic organizations to acquaint themselves with the issues involved in providing our public works and recognize the contributions which public works officials make every day to our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life. I want to thank you on behalf of the City Commission and all the citizens of Harlingen for the work that you do every single day. Thank you very much.
You got this one.
Thank you.
That's a lot of Oh, go back.
That's it, this is yours.
It's done, we're done, right?
Yeah, this is yours.
All right, so with that, we go to item 2, the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of February 6, 2019. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. Item 3 is the introduction of Chief of Police Michael Kester.
Mayor, Commissioners, before I introduce our new chief, I would like to personally thank the Police Chief Search Committee that gave up so much of their time and dedicated so much of their time for the search process. That included Attorney John Guevara, who is here in the audience, Dr. Linda Burke, former Commissioner and Harlingen Chief Danny Castillo, Architect Mike Alex, who's also here. Thank you, Mike. And Cameron County Sheriff Omar Lucio. Thanks again, you guys, for all your time. I'm pleased to announce that after a 5-month search, several interviews, the Harlingen Police Department has a new chief. And while he is new to the position, he is not new to the department. Mike Kester, Chief, has been serving the citizens of our great city for 29 years. He began his law enforcement career here in Harlingen in 1990 as a patrol officer. And for more than 16 years, he has served in an executive leadership role. Mike was second in command since 2016 and served as interim chief twice, once in 2011 and most recently December 2019. He brings to the department a wealth of experience in firearms, accident investigations, field training, as well as management. As the Assistant He directed the day-to-day operations of the department that has an authorized strength of 143 officers and 42 civilian employees. His many years of experience, a progressive experience in law enforcement, and extensive knowledge of our officers and the city will help him lead the department into the future. Mayor, Commissioners, and citizens, I am pleased to introduce to you our Harlingen Police Chief, Michael Kester.
Well, it's an honor for me to swear Chief Michael Kester in as our new Chief of Police. Michael has done a fantastic job for the city for a lot of years and has been an exemplary member of our entire staff, contributed greatly to the overall public safety in our community. I mean, to be able to say that we are the 38th safest city in the state of Texas, safer than Dallas and Austin, is a great thing. And we applaud those of you, all of you officers who have helped us. We applaud the leadership of Chief Kester. And he's got another chief here who I guess that means he likes the appointment.
The choice.
All right, so if you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Michael Kester,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office
of Harlingen Police Chief
of Harlingen Police Chief
of the city of Harlingen in the state of Texas,
of the city of Harlingen in the state of Texas,
and will, to the best
and will to the best
of my ability,
of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Chief, congratulations.
It may take her a couple of times, Chief.
This isn't the same when I got to come down to.
I do want to thank all the officers that are here showing their support. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, and City Manager Cerna for giving me this opportunity and believing in me. I also want to thank Chief Addicks, retired Chief Addicks, who, without his mentorship, I wouldn't be in this position at all. So, and then to thank the men and women of the Harlingen Police Department who do an awesome job for the city every single day. It's easy to see them here, you look around, they're in the same uniform I'm in, except what you don't realize is there's a lot of them here that are in plain clothes and actually just blending into the background because they are part of the community. Because that's ultimately what it's about community, and we're here to work with the community and make the city of Harlingen an even safer city, lower than number 38. Thank you, Mayor, again. Appreciate it.
You need to sign,
Okay.
sign it with me. You're an officer. Okay.
Chief Kester, I like the picture with you.
All of us should get up there.
Una más.
I'm right next to him.
Let's stick around if y'all want to take it a bit more.
And since it is about family, I wanted to get one with my family.
There we go.
I know.
There you go.
That's great. That's awesome. That's really cool. Really cool.
All right, we'll move now to item 4A through C, which is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved, Mayor. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. Item 5, consideration possible action pursuant to Harlingen City Charter, Article 4, Section 6, to elect a mayor pro tempore by a majority vote of the city commissioners. It's that time of year again. The charter says we have to elect a mayor pro tem.
Yes, it's that time of year again for you all to elect a mayor pro tem, so just somebody make a nomination.
Do we nominate?
Yes, somebody will make a nomination then.
I make a nomination for Mike Mesmer. I'll second that.
All right, there's a motion and a second to appoint Mike Mesmer as the mayor pro tem. Is all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Congratulations for continuing to serve. Thank you.
Check.
Item 6, presentation by Carr, Riggs, and Ingram CPAs and advisors regarding the City of Harlingen Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, CAFR, for fiscal year 2017-18. So I think we have Quentin Anderson and his team here to present us with this report.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the commission. I believe that you have a copy of the annual financial report in your packets. It's a document that's well over 300 pages in length, and we've worked with your finance department to prepare this annual financial report. And we've reviewed it with city management as well as with the audit committee of the city, with representatives from the various city departments and component units as well, the airport and the waterworks. So I'm here to use this PowerPoint presentation to give you a brief overview of the information that's in the report. And the first thing I'd want to point out to you is that the city has consistently received a certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting because the finance department works hard to prepare a comprehensive annual financial report that includes an extensive amount of information for review and submission to the Government Finance Officers Association, and the city did receive that award, and again has received that award consistently over the past several years. So the audited financial statements include information about the primary government, the City of Harlingen, its governmental activities and its business type activities. So governmental activities include police and fire and public works, and your business type activities are a golf course, and municipal auditorium, museum, and sanitation services. But because the report's comprehensive, it also includes component units of the city, which involve the Harlingen Economic Development Corporation, the Community Improvement Board, Harlingen Waterworks System and Valley International Airport. So the report includes the city as its primary government as well as the other functions of the city in its component units. There are two opinions in the financial statement, and you have your bound report, but if you went to page 15, you'd find the opinion on the overall basic financial statements. There's an unmodified opinion. It says the financial statements fairly present in all material respects your financial position and changes in financial position over the past fiscal year. And because you're a local government and you're subject to various laws and regulations, there's also a report on page 311 that deals with compliance with major federal program requirements and internal controls over compliance related to federal grant awards that you've received. And that report also was unmodified and had no instances of non-compliance identified during the audit process. So that was important too. And we reviewed the financial reports, the opinions, and the compliance reports with the audit committee. So with that said, I'll go over some quick financial highlights that are included within the report, and I think it's easier to see perhaps in graphic form than in the lengthy detailed schedules. But the financial statements do include detailed information on all the assets, liabilities, revenues, and expenses of the city. So in this summarized chart, we can see that the city's assets have been pretty consistent from the prior year, about $204 million between 2017 and 2018, and where your liabilities actually dropped a little bit from $98 million to $96 million in our net position. City's net position, which is the difference between your assets and liabilities, has grown by about $2 million from the prior year. So the total net position was $107 million for the primary government, the city of Harlingen. This doesn't include the component units, the waterworks or airport or EDC or HIB. So in terms of revenues, your charts will show that total revenues for governmental activities, that's the primary government, were $54 million, and they've grown by about $3 million from the year before. In your business type activities, it's primarily sanitation services, but it does include the golf course and the municipal auditorium and the museum. Those are about $11 million, and those are pretty comparable with the prior year and up a little bit from 2 years ago. If you squint, or if we had some therapeutic hypnosis, you might be able to see this a little bit closer. But these numbers show, and I'm fortunate to have it right in front of me, the breakdown of revenues for a governmental entity. And so our major source of revenue as a community has been property taxes and sales tax revenues. And property taxes have grown steadily over the past 5 years and total about $18.5 million in 2018. And I mean, what's notable about that is the city's tax rate has not been increased in more than 10 years. And the statistical sections of the report will show that property taxes have grown because of increases in property values that have occurred over the past historical years. And sales tax revenues are nearly $18.9 million, and they grew substantially from 17.6 in the year before. So we had a steady increase of sales tax revenues from 2014 all the way through 2018. Our other major revenues are franchise fees, as well as hotel and motel occupancy taxes. So, and that's for the primary government, for the city itself. Again, we have business type activities, which include, the lion's share of the business type activities are sanitation services, and they're nearly $9.6 million out of about $11.5 million. And so, the golf course had $860,000 in revenues. The museum just a small amount of revenues, in the auditorium $231,000 in revenues. The next chart will show a breakdown of our expenditures and how the city's expenditures have been allocated from one year to the next. I think you heard the mayor talk about the emphasis that the city places on public safety. If you look at public safety, nearly 52% of expenditures. Highways and streets at $6.1 million, another 11%. And then we talked about parks and recreation. I think I heard the mayor talk about that, and that's nearly another 13 percent culture and recreation. So those major categories, which are important to the community, public safety, highways and streets, and culture and recreation, that's over 75% of total expenditures of where the city's emphasis had been placed. And it's somewhat comparable with the year before. Expenses in business-type activities, again, the major expenditure that corresponds with major revenues is in the sanitation services, and total expenditures in sanitation about $7.7 million. And with the next major category being the golf course at about $1.2 million, and pretty consistent with the prior year. I jumped too far. Let's see. The last chart, which we want to emphasize, is changes in the city's fund balance. And so we've seen growth in revenue sources. Property tax increased because property values increased. Sales tax revenues have increased, and city expenditures have been maintained under control. And what the financial statements show that historically over in this past period from 2009 to 2018, the city's fund balance has grown, and now represents at $20 million at the end of the fiscal period, a substantial, maybe about 160 days of operations, I think, is what city financial records show. So that's a good reserve, represents a healthy increase in fund balance to go along with, a steady operating budget. That's an overview of the financial information. Again, the opinions on the financial statements were unmodified. The opinions on compliance were unmodified. And we reviewed those reports in detail, along with recommendations that we had with city management and also with the audit committee. So we do appreciate the work of finance that goes into making this financial statement possible and making the results successful. So.
All right, does anyone have any questions for Quentin? The audit committee did meet with Quentin and his staff earlier and spent and with our independent auditor, Danny Colwell, city manager, and had a more extensive review of this and a good discussion about the findings of the report. It's a good positive report. Unless anybody's got any questions, we'll.
I want to thank you for the hard work you do. I know that you've been doing this for a while, and it's very nice to see that you put it in a way that even I can understand it.
Yeah.
Yes. Great. So I appreciate it very much.
All right. Thank you very much. Congratulations to not only for the review, but mainly congratulations to our staff, Dan Serna, our finance team, Elvia and Sergio and all of their team for, if you guys weren't doing such a great job, it would be a lot harder to get this report done timely. It would be a lot harder to get to see the results in this report. So congratulations. Thank you all. Item 7, consideration of possible action to accept a grant award from the Department of the State of Health Services, HHSTX 90000187127 to purchase technical equipment and educational supplies to conduct binatural mosquito education and surveillance.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. There's just a correction on that item. It's binational, not binatural. This grant will allow us to, if approved, will allow us to purchase additional equipment and supplies that we need. And this is primarily to focus on the Spanish-speaking citizens that we have. And we're also going to partner with the city of Reynosa. Some students are doing similar work in Reynosa. So we want to take advantage of utilizing our binational and also the Spanish-speaking citizens that may benefit from getting the material that we're going to be distributing in Spanish as well.
All right. Is there a motion to accept the grant award?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you very much. Item 8 is the consideration possible action to adopt a resolution suspending the June 5th, 2009 effective date of AEP Texas Inc.'s requested rate change, hiring Lloyd Gosling attorneys and consulting service to negotiate with the company and direct any necessary litigation and appeals and requiring reimbursement of the city's rate case expenses. Gabe?
Mayor, members of the commission, AEP has filed a statement of intent with the PUC to change its rates. This would result in an increase of $4.75 for customers in the central division, which is our area, per residential customer only, and a decrease of $5.01 for customers in the north division. This resolution will actually suspend the effective date of June 5th, which would allow our attorneys and our consultants to actually review the rates and negotiate with the company to see if we can negotiate a lower fee for our residents. So staff is recommending approval of the resolution.
Is this our solo attempt, or are we partnering with other communities in their catchment area?
No, this is a coalition from cities throughout the southern region. McAllen has hired Lloyd Gosling, specifically Thomas Mercado, and so we're joining in with that particular group to petition the PUC to actually give us more time to negotiate the rates.
All right, all right, is there any other questions? Then is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. And we do this in sort of a friendly manner with AEP, or a professional manner anyway, and we appreciate Danny Lucio with AEP being here tonight. Thank you. Item 9, public hearing to consider an ordinance on first reading for the specific use permit to allow a bar lounge and a general retail GR district located at 309 West Van Buren, bearing a legal description of Lot 8, Block 67, Harlingen original town site. The applicant is Jesus Pena.
Mayor and members of the commission, Jesus A. Pena wants to open Sir's Martini Lounge on 309 West Van Buren. Went before the DID to request approval from the DID. They did review his request and approve the bar to be open until midnight. I'll cover more specifics about the P&Z later in the presentation. Staff did send out notices to property owners within a 200-foot radius of the particular property. This is the, nope, that's wrong. There's a photo of the front of the bar. This is the actual location of the bar right there. And to give you a perspective, Megamorphosis is right here at this corner, and the bar is going to be right there. Staff only received one letter of opposition to the request. When the applicant went before the P&Z, he did petition to have the bar allowed to be open until 2 a.m. The P&Z listened to his request and did authorize the applicant to remain open until 2 a.m. only on Thursday through Saturday. This was approved by a 2-to-1 vote. As I mentioned, this is a copy of the photo of the front of the bar. This is a layout of what the actual inside of the bar would look like. Staff is recommending approval of the SUP subject to the following conditions. The SUP would be limited to a 1 year. The applicant would have to apply for renewal to continue to operate the bar lounge. Provision of security officers during peak hours of operation, Thursday through Saturday, from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m., consistent with the P&Z's approval. Provision of video surveillance with 30-day retention period. Provision of adequate lighting inside and outside the business. Obtain and maintain proper state permits. Compliance Code of Ordinance, Chapter 22, Article 3, Sections 22-54 to 22-66, smoking regulations, and compliance with the requirements administered by the Planning and Zoning Commission, Building Inspections Department, Environmental Health, Fire Prevention, and Police Departments prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. Staff is recommending approval, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
So there, in previous years, this location has been bars?
Yes. Yes, it has.
Okay,
I
I'm
believe.
going to go to item A and open a public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak for or against this specific use permit? if you want, and so if you would please state your name and give us your residence address, and I think 2 minutes.
Yes, sir. Hello, my name is Jesus Peña. I live in 1201 Crescent Avenue, San Benito, Texas. I am currently trying to open up Sir's Martini Lounge. The concept is a nicer upscale lounge. I don't think Harlingen or anywhere downtown has anything like it. It's going to be a relaxed atmosphere. We're also planning to do a patio, so you can go outside and relax as well. I will have off-duty officers, adequate lighting, surveillance for the patrons' peace of mind. And as he had stated earlier, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 9 till 2 a.m. I will have off-duty officers. As you had mentioned earlier, Mayor Boswell, we need to dream, and this is my dream. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak for or against this SUP?
Yolanda Shoffett, 258 Altas Palmas. If somebody's willing to come to Harlingen from San Benito and invest in Harlingen and spend all that money to have an upscale, a very good, I saw the pictures and everything what he's planning to do, then why not? If that is his dream, taxpayer revenue to Harlingen, not like one of our local commissioners who went and got his restaurant from Harlingen to San Benito. I don't know why, but this man from San Benito is willing to invest in his dream upscale. Not only that, they're planning to buy a property probably next door as well, if it looks good. So I think it's awesome that they're going to have it. They're buying their own laws. They're not breaking any laws yet. So why not give him a chance with his dream? Thank you.
Anyone else would like to speak for or against this SUP? Please state your name and your address.
My name is Raymond Reyes, 706 Nantucket Drive, and I actually own the spot. Formerly was another business. My family's been doing business in that area since 1976. I know the owner that's hoping to open this facility. He's a very good businessman. He's looking to, in my opinion, bring up that particular area, just like we've been trying to do since I remodeled my particular location. And I think it will be a big plus for that area and go in line with things the city's trying to do for that particular area of Harlingen on the west side of the railroad tracks. So I think it would be a big plus, in my opinion. So thank you again for your time.
All right, thank you. Anyone else would like to speak for or against this SUP? Please come on up and state your name and your address, please.
Good evening. My name is Lars Kime, 109 North A Street, Harlingen, Texas. I'm Vice Chair of the DID, the board downtown. Like Mr. Peña mentioned, I think he's got a fine establishment. It's a great idea. The thing that we do oppose, however, is the after-hours permitting. It took a long time for us to get Van Buren in that area cleaned up. It's been, in the past, has a history that is not favorable to the city, and I think with a midnight closing, a business as such as his can be highly successful. As our mayor once said in a meeting several years back, nothing good happens after midnight. And we just feel that given the effort that's been put into cleaning up the area, the time and the energy, we respectfully request that an after-hours permit not be provided, although we do agree that the idea of the Sir's Martini Bar is, as an upscale place, is certainly welcome in the downtown.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak for or against this specific use permit?
Hi, I'm Michael Feckner, 2701 Luann. I think it's a great idea. The downtown area has needed more business in there. Upscale bar, the point's right across the railroad tracks. So y'all have that new parking lot there. The lighting's good. I'm in favor of it. So.
All right, thank you. Anyone else would like to speak for or against the specific use permit?
Hi, good evening. My name is Felix Rodriguez, 2425 Ed Carey Drive. I've known sir for about 10 years now, and in those 10 years, I've come to find that he's a man of, that attracts positive. He's a good guy. He does good things. If he can do the community good, he won't do it bad. So this place, Sir's Martini Lounge, I think it'd be a great idea, and it would definitely add to our community. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bill DeBrook, 306 East Jackson. Let me tell you where the downtown's headed. Last year, we built one single-family unit downtown. Lars lives there. In about a month, there'll be 24 units open to people and families. We have about 150,000 square feet of upper floor space that is going to be residential. We are trying to create what will become one of Harlingen's newest neighborhoods. There'll be singles, there'll be families living in the downtown area, including the west side. I'll leave it up to you to decide whether this neighborhood needs after-hours permits. I'm pretty sure your neighborhood doesn't need after-hours permits. So we need your help to build the future the downtown deserves.
All right, is there anyone else who'd like to speak for or against the SUP? All right, hearing none, I'll close the public hearing and go to item B, which is the consideration of possible action to approve an ordinance on first reading for a specific use permit to allow a bar lounge in a general retail GR district located at 309 West Harrison, or West Van Buren at the above described property, and ask the city attorney to read the caption.
An ordinance amending the zoning ordinance number 07-27 of the City of Harlingen to issue a specific use permit to Jesus A. Pena to allow a bar lounge in a general retail GR district located at 309 West Van Buren, bearing a legal description of Lot A, Block 67, Harlingen Original Town Site, subject to, number 1, the SUP will be limited to 1 year with hours of operation of Monday to Wednesday from 3 p.m. to 12 a.m., and Thursday to Saturday from 3 p.m. to 2 a.m., and Sundays from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. The applicant would have to apply for the renewal to continue to operate the bar lounge since it is located within the Downtown Improvement District. Provision of security officers during peak hours of operation, Thursday through Saturday from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Provision of video surveillance with 30-day retention period. Provision of adequate lighting inside and outside the business. Obtain and maintain proper state permits. Compliance Code of Ordinance, Chapter 22, Article 3, Sections 22-54 to 22-66, smoking regulations, and compliance with the requirements administered by the Planning and Zoning Commission, building inspections departments, environmental health, fire prevention, and police departments prior to the issuance of certificate of occupancy.
All right. What are the wishes of the commission? You can ask questions.
I have questions.
You can move to adopt the ordinance. You can move to adopt the ordinance with amendments. You can.
Okay, so the question that I have is, normally when P&Z brings us something, if we don't agree with what they've brought us, it takes a 4/5 vote. Does it take a 4/5 vote to amend what's in the ordinance? Or if we say we're going to allow it, but I understand that part of the debate is whether they close at midnight or they close at 2 o'clock. I think that's where, I'm reading the minutes of the P&Z, and that was a debate.
Right, that's the only issue, what time they will close from Thursday through Saturday. Is it going to be 12 a.m. or 2 a.m.? That's the only issue here. Everybody else agrees that the bar should be allowed to open. But that was a discussion, that's the difference between what the P&Z recommended and what the DID recommended.
But would that require a 4/5 vote, or is that an amendment to the ordinance?
It would just be amendment to the ordinance, and that wouldn't require a 4/5 vote.
I have a question. Can you go back to the slide? Where is that located as proximity to the point?
This is, let me see if I can show you. This is Van Buren. This is the bar located right there. I don't think the point is in here.
The blue
It's
represents
further down.
San Pedro.
So it's on the whole other.
It's on the west.
Do we know how many bars are open in that area?
3.
Past,
I'm open.
so it's not the only one.
And we have the late hours. And so does the Garcia's bar. They have the late hours as well.
They have the late hours because they were there before we changed the ordinance. And so, ever since we changed the ordinance, zone has been granted late
I have
hours.
a question. So this SUP is for 12 months?
Yes.
And then after 12 months, they reapply?
Yes.
We listen to the police reports and all that?
Right.
And then we could always change the time?
Yes.
Out in 12 months?
Yes, that's correct.
And Commissioner Mesmart, I normally will always interject that we should always have a 6-month review and a renewal a year later. And we can write that into, if the real question is the 12 to 2, and that can be a problem, we can always come back in 6 months and say the 2 o'clock doesn't work out. I just known, just from my history in the community, that area of town, we've always tried to limit, but from what I understand from reading the P&Z minutes, there is no law, it's just
2 o'clock is a closing time for
customly
bars, yes.
accepted is what we've done in the downtown area.
That's correct.
And so it's kind of a,
Well, it also costs them the same amount of money to pull the permit, the proper
Correct.
permits with TABC and everything else, so it's a little unfair to them.
and I get that. I mean, being a supporter of small businesses, being a supporter of people who want to invest in our community, I don't have an issue with the bar. It's just, I'm sitting here going, okay, so it's going to be, Carlitos does not have a liquor permit, it is a beer permit. And I understand that the cost for that
Much
is
less.
much less.
Well, I don't want to pretend to describe the history. I don't know whether the Downtown Improvement District wants to talk anymore about the history of the area, and to give some better context to this discussion. No.
You want to hear the
That's not,
truth?
I'm not
They
asking,
have an operation.
I'm asking a representative of the Downtown Improvement District if they want to give any additional context to this over time.
Well, there were within a block of C in Van Buren, which is sort of, if you put a pin there are 11 bars within a block of that when the program started. The ambulance used to park at the corner of D Street and Van Buren on the weekends because, it was always needed, so they just parked there. On the corner of C and Van Buren, there were 4 bars. Moved down eastward on Van Buren, there were 2 more bars. There were, if you went on C Street to the north, there were 1, 2, 3 bars. Then you move up west on Van Buren, there were a lot of bars. There were 11 bars there. I mean, it was a circus on the weekends. Part of the goal of the La Placita program, as it started, was to clean up the neighborhood, make it an important part of the downtown. It's the Mexican-American business district in the old days. The program has been very successful. We have a new restaurant opening where the Rio Grande Grill was. We have a coffee house next door to that. We have a new shop opening next door to that. Corsi's Guitars is down in what used to be the Barrel Bar. The street is changing. We don't have a problem with the Martini Bar. We question whether it behooves the district, particularly where we're trying to go, into having late hours. It does not seem to fit with the future of the downtown. Unless you have any questions.
All right, thank you, Bill. All right, what are the,
Now can I speak? You let him speak?
no, because I was asking.
They cleaned out the city with a coupling operation.
Please, you have not been recognized. I was asking the Downtown Improvement District for some history.
I thought I had.
So,
Excuse me, but I'd like to speak.
No, we've already closed the public comment, so we cannot
we
have.
had closed the
yeah.
public hearing, so I'm sorry. All right. What is the wishes of the commission?
I'll make a motion to accept the item as presented.
Okay.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
I would like to at least put some sort of break point in here, guys. I would like to at least have a 6-month review at a minimum, and then the standard renewal at 12 months, because I believe we just need to get some history of what's going, if we're going to do the 2 o'clock, we need to at least.
But at no cost to the owner,
It's a review.
Right.
A 6-month review, not a renewal, it's a review. And at that point, and if we have to call it a renewal with no fee in order to make it legal, if we decide not to renew it, we can do so. But I have a real hesitation with this 2 o'clock, guys. And I understand the financial part about it, but I'm real strong. If we don't have a 6-month break, I have a real issue with this.
Okay, so I'll withdraw my motion and make a new motion to accept as
Somebody
presented.
withdraw their second.
I'll withdraw a second.
Yeah.
Withdraw the
I'll
second.
make a motion to accept as presented and adopt Mr. Leal's suggestion of the 6-month review.
And I'll second that.
And does it need to be called a review or renew? Because if we review it and don't like it,
It would need to be a review, because the renewal is going to be yearly, so you can call it a review.
It would trigger a fee if it's a renewal.
Yeah.
okay, but we can,
Just a
if we
review.
decide not to allow it, we can say it's not going to happen?
It can just be a review.
We can call it a review for now, and then depending on what comes out of that meeting, we can address what actions we'll need to take going forward. But I would call it a review for right now.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure we're real clear on how we're going to proceed
We're
with
going to
this.
allow him to do what they're asking me.
With great hesitation.
Okay.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second to approve, to adopt the ordinance with that change, with a 6-month review. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 10, public hearing to consider an ordinance on first reading to rezone the residential multifamily M2 district to general retail GR district for 5.91 acres out of Block 23 Lonsea Hill subdivision located at 501 Rangerville Road, applicant J. Schwittenberg, Blue Cactus Properties.
Mayor, members of the commission, the applicant Jay Schwitzenberg has applied to have this property here renewed from residential multifamily to general retail. It was rezoned to multifamily in 1974 by the city. The applicant owns this property here in front also. They're currently both vacant. There's access to this side from Idaho Street here and to this property from Rangerville. This particular area here is 5.91 acres. The entire tract is 8.25. This is a view of the property, an aerial view. The request is consistent with the land use plan. It currently has it. This is another view of the property here. This area here is owned single-family residential. This is all multifamily. Oops. This is all multifamily. This is general retail, all along Rangerville and along the expressway frontage road. This is a view of the side of the property from Rangerville, west view, view from the north, view to the south. The land use plan does have this as mixed use, so the rezoning would be consistent with the future land use plan. Staff is recommending approval of the request. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, so this would add depth to an already existing general retail
Yes,
property.
because his property is already zoned general retail in front, and the back is multifamily, so this would make this all general retail.
If you go to the other slide, you don't have it marked that way.
Which one?
That one? No, there's another one. You showed it with a different color.
That was the future land use plan.
Future land use?
Yes.
Okay.
So
This is not what it's, so go back to the other one where it actually shows that it's general retail?
Right, the future land use plan has all this area as mixed use, which could be general retail or multifamily. That's what it could be. This is what it currently is.
Can you go to where it currently is?
That's what it currently is.
No, go back to, okay, so right now, you have a continuous R1?
All along
Okay.
here, yes.
Okay. So we're not going to isolate that R1. That R1 would be attached to the other R1.
Right, this would be GR?
GR?
Yes.
And 2 on this side and R1 on that side.
Right, all this is R1, single-family residential. This is all multifamily.
And what are the, did he describe any plans to have that depth all the way across from?
No, he just wants to sell it. He thinks he can get it sold faster if it's all general retail.
And there's not any type of easement with Idaho to go through?
No, I don't believe so, Commissioner. That, I can't answer that, but I don't think there is. It would have shown up here, and there's nothing showing through here. Once you get to, if he sells it and you get to title search, that'll come up.
Okay, I'm going to go to item A, which is the public hearing. I open the public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak for or against this rezoning? Hearing no one, I'll close the public hearing and go to item B, which is the consideration of possible action to approve an ordinance on first reading to rezone from residential multifamily M2 district, general retail GR district for 5.91 acres out of block 23, Lansing Hill subdivision of the above described property. So is there I ask the city attorney to read the caption, please.
An ordinance amending the code of ordinances of the City of Harlingen, rezoning from residential multifamily M2 district to general retail GR district for 5.91 acres out of Block 23, Lansing Hill subdivision, providing for publication and ordaining other matters related to the foregoing.
Is there
Motion to approve?
Second. Okay, we have a motion, second to adopt the ordinance. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. Item 11, consideration of possible action to approve an ordinance on first reading to amend Chapter 18 of the City Code of Ordinances in regards to building permit fees, providing for publication, and any other matters.
Mayor, members of the commission, the state has been busy this session. One of the bills that passed was House Bill 852, which changes the procedures that cities can use to charge building permit fees for residential structures. Cities can no longer use the value of the residential unit to determine its cost for the building permit fee. So what cities are going to be forced to do is charge a fee for the particular property by square footage. So we've come up with a scenario to charge 25 cents per square foot, and we've created this spreadsheet that shows what would be charging for a particular size property, say a 1,000 square foot property. This is the fee we currently are collecting now under the current system. Under the proposed change, would go to $250. So properties that would be smaller than 2,000 square feet would actually, less than 2,000 square feet would actually see savings. Anything above 2,000 square feet would see a slight increase. This has to be done. We have no alternative. So we're going to come up with, we're working on what this might do to our revenue, so we should have some projections before the second and final reading that we can share with the city manager.
Do you have, Gabe, at this current proposal versus last year's collections, how that would affect?
We're working on that right now, Commissioner. Yes, sir.
You don't have that yet?
Because there are going to be some losses of revenue for structures smaller than 2,000 square feet. So if you were to come in with, say, a 1,000 square foot unit.
Right, but the percentage of, what's the highest percentage of our builds? Is it in the 2,000 or 4,000 square foot?
It's about 2,500, the average.
It's the average?
Yes.
Okay.
This is something we just have to do to stay in compliance with state law.
So the bill has passed, Commissioners, It received 2/3 vote, so it's just awaiting the governor's signature, which we expect to happen in the next 30 days.
So we just need to comply with
we're out of
state
time.
law.
We're kind of tight on time.
But our rate, it's going to be based on this, not at 25 per square foot.
No, this is just an example of what a 1,000 square foot permit fee would
So
cost.
a 10,000 would be 2,500?
Yes.
Okay.
So 25 cents a square foot.
25 cents, what we're passing is 25 cents a square foot.
And that would be inclusive of an addition, any type of addition to only residential structures.
Right, only residential
Only
structures.
residential
Yes.
structures. And so when they bring in the plan and it's 1525, it'll be based on 1525.
Square feet, yes.
Understood.
What about
Yes.
remodels? It doesn't fall into this?
25 cents per square foot in a remodel, yes.
All residential structures.
All residential structures.
And when they remodel, is it the whole structure or just
Just the remodel
just
itself.
the remodel section
Yes,
itself?
yes.
So that's another bill that they are considering. Right now, I believe the code triggers it at 75% of the value of the property. You'd have to bring it all into compliance. If the improvements exceed 75%, I think they're going to restrict that also. So you don't require them to bring the entire structure up to compliance, just the portion that's being improved or added on. But if the governor does sign it, it goes into effect immediately. So we were kind of hurried up to put this on the agenda and get something in place.
Okay, so let's go, let's read the caption.
An ordinance amending certain sections of Chapter 18 of the Harlingen Code of Ordinances relating to collection of building permit fees for residential structures, establishing an effective date, providing for the publication, and ordaining other matters relating to the foregoing.
All right,
Motion
sir.
to approve?
We have a motion to adopt the ordinance, first reading.
Second.
Second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 12 is consideration of possible action to approve a resolution ordering the special runoff election for June 22nd, 2019 to elect one city commissioner for District 1 and approval of appointment of presiding judges and alternate presiding judges for the early voting ballot board on election day to serve as election officials for the June 22nd, 2019 special runoff election and are there any other matters related to the foregoing?
Mayor, this will give me the authorization to proceed with the preparations for the runoff. It'll be just for District 1, so it'll be in a smaller scale, but we still have to do all the procedures that are required by the election code. Early voting will be held in this room. It'll start June the 10th through June the 18th. And there'll be 2 days of extended hours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I believe that would be on a Thursday, and Tuesday, the last day of early voting. We have secured approval from the school district as far as the use of the polling place, and that'll be Long Elementary. I've already made contact with the county as far as the leasing of the equipment, which that item was approved under the consent agenda. Tomorrow will be the drawing, so that I can prepare the ballot and start getting everything ready to have for early voting. So we're on it, Mayor.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Yeah, so the special election will be June 22nd.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 13, board appointments.
I have none.
Commissioner Pointer, do you have any yet? Okay.
I have one, John Sledge to the Veterans Board.
No.
Motion to approve board appointments.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed. All right. Motion carries. Item 14, executive closed session on the following items. A, this will be items A, C, and D pursuant to Chapter 551, Sections 551.087, 551.071, and 551.072 of the Government Code regarding commercial and financial information from a business prospect with which the city is conducting economic development negotiations and or to discuss, deliberate financial or other incentives of the business prospect known as Project Development, Project Melt, and ULA, and to seek legal advice from our city attorney. And item B, pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 552.072 and 551.071, to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. If deliberation of a meeting would have a detrimental effect on the position of the city with a third person regarding the acquisition of real property for the transit terminal expansion. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved, Mayor. Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be in executive session meeting with our attorney and discussing economic development projects. And there are action items on the agenda. All right, we're out of executive session at 7:21. Go to item 15. Is there, which is consideration possible action on item 14A, is there a motion to approve the interlocal with the Economic Development Corporation of project development?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 16, consideration possible action to authorize the city manager to sign any and all related documents pursuant to item number 14B. Is there a motion to authorize the city manager regarding the item as discussed in executive session?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 17, consideration possible action on item 14C. Is there a motion to approve
The IDA.
the amendment to Project Melt?
Oh, sorry, yes.
The agreement with Project Melt.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Item 18, consideration of possible action to approve the industrial development agreement between the City of Harlingen and Project Melt. Is there a motion to approve the IDA between Harlingen and Project Melt?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 19, consideration possible action on item number 14D to approve the 380 agreement with ULA.
No.
That's interlocal.
Interlocal agreement between the city and the EDC regarding ULA.
Is there a
So
motion?
moved. Second.
Second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 20, there is no citizen communication, so we are adjourned. Thank you all.
I'm gonna call